Welcome to another episode of the Roll for Crit podcast. I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes, and we have a lot of stuff, more stuff about Origins this week. It is over, but now we actually know everything that came out of it.
Right, and I think we might as well start off with the awards.
Yeah, there's of course every year they have like some Origins Academy or something gives out their own awards. So of course we've already seen the Dice Tower and all these other Board Game Geek that did their own. But they did theirs. The winners were announced. Best game of the year was taken home by Sheriff of Nottingham.
No surprise.
Yeah, not too surprising. I feel like
In terms of a winner, it's
usually these awards are never surprising.
Right, true.
It seems like, it's not like, at least in movies and video games, there's a much larger pool. I feel like at this point in board games, people usually agree on what they think is the best stuff.
So is that why we don't do our top 10 guest lists?
Right. It's like, we all know. What else? Splendor got best card game.
I don't know why, but I guess part of me doesn't think of Splendor as a card game, just because to me, when I think of Splendor, I always think of the tiles.
Yeah.
I understand why it's a card game, like why it won, and it does use cards. Just some reason, cards aren't what I picture when I think of it.
It doesn't have a board, therefore it's a card game. There's some other ones. They're pretty generic, though. What did you think was interesting?
I'm curious, not for who won this year. I'm wondering, best CCG. I want to know how many times Magic the Gathering did not win.
Yeah, that's a good question. Specifically, it was Khans of Tarkir.
It was a very good set. I will admit it. It was definitely. Compared to some of the other ones, it was a bit new, really cool. The entire block is dragon themed, so I'm already there. But it definitely was a fun one to play with. So I definitely agree with it winning. I'm just very curious because I've seen many CCGs come and go.
Right.
So that's what makes me wonder what have stood up enough against. I know Magic the Gathering. I can see maybe Yu-Gi-Oh winning and stuff, but once again, Magic the Gathering is the one I see with the board games compared to Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, it was probably them every single year. I don't know how long they've been doing Origins Awards. Maybe a few years, maybe longer.
Once again, this actually falls, I think, right along with CCG. Best RPG, Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, that I could see because there is
Pathfinder is bigger, but
Fate.
It's not as bad as the CCG one.
Right. Yeah.
But and D&D just came out with their new edition, so.
Right, exactly, yeah. I think it's specifically the player's handbook, technically.
I think that's why it just says dungeon,
Yeah.
But, a lot of these are interesting. Heroes of Normandy, actually, I want to try.
Yeah, didn't it win Best Historical Game?
Yeah.
That's an interesting
Well, it's sort of
category.
interesting. Well, the reason why it's sort of funny to me is because the first time I heard of it wasn't Heroes of Normandy. It was through a Kickstarter for their Shadows of Normandy, which is actually Cthulhu-based Heroes of Normandy. So to me, it's like, huh.
Yeah. Why is this historically accurate game about demons and monsters?
But
so those are awards. There was some other stuff. There was some other cool stuff that came out. I think we already knew about it, but the new 2-player version of Seven Wonders was there. Seven Wonders Duel. So I think it's pretty much exactly like Seven Wonders with some tweaks, so it's only for 2 players.
Right.
That's kind of cool. I think that's a good idea.
So you always go to war.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess so. There was some more Dice Masters stuff. Actually, this is interesting. So recently we talked about the Ninja Turtles set.
Yeah.
Turns out, apparently, they're releasing the Ninja Turtles as actually a standalone box as opposed to packs and such like they have with the other ones.
Well, actually, that makes perfect sense. Remember we were talking about...
That's what we were saying, is we didn't think there was enough stuff to be released, so I guess they agree.
Yeah, and I think that's a great idea for some of their smaller properties.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool, because that way also you can make some really good cards that can tweak with the game. Like if, let's say, something's way overpowered, instead of making a whole set that counteracts it, which I noticed with the X-Men set compared to Avengers versus X-Men. This one can just have 1 or 2 cards that just work to balance out the game.
Right, so it's more of a this is its own thing, deal with it, have fun.
Right.
And of course, more Dice Masters. The Age of Ultron is coming in July. And then a month later, there's a new DC set. I think it's War of Light. It's like a Green Lantern themed.
Yeah, it's the rings, all the rings fighting, because...
Yeah.
Which I'm sure the Black Rings will somehow get involved.
So they are not slowing down. If anything, they're speeding up with Dice Masters sets. I was kind of like, I feel like
Well, it's weird
slow
also
down.
because also what we have is not. Well, it's weird
slow
also
down.
because also what we have not
It
seen.
seems like nothing has been selling quite with the same fervor as the original set did.
No, that was the only one that really seems to sell.
So it makes me wonder: is it they already had all this stuff in the pipeline and there's no going back, or is it really doing well for them, and they just think or they're just all about perseverance and it's going to come out ahead eventually?
Or maybe no Dice Master fans are just going from what we've seen.
Yeah, right. It's just our experience, but yeah. So I guess it's working. But I think they are in danger of fatigue. Of
You thought that like 3 sets ago.
Well, because I'm fatigued of it myself. So I think they keep pushing it. Like I don't know. We'll see. Like in a year from now, if Dice Masters is still around, because most CCGs don't last that long if you're not called Magic or Pokemon. You
Right.
know what I mean? Although this one's been pretty. It has a twist on it. Let's see what else we got. A new Eclipse expansion was announced.
Oh, I know how much we love Eclipse here.
Shadow of the Rift has new alien races, a new board. If you like the game Eclipse, I'm sure you'll be into it. we like Eclipse. It's just
Maybe
it's
they'll
just a heavy.
Yes, maybe once they've actually finished their full game through add the expansion in.
Right. We'll see. We'll see if we get there. It seems like every game in the last week decided they're getting a digital version. We said Pandemic and Gloom. Splendor is getting one now as well. So there's another one to add to your.
That one I could see. It's pretty good. Like we said before, I don't think Gloom works because I think a lot of that is the storytelling game. There are plenty of other games that I feel that don't make digital versions because of that. Also, because playing with certain people, someone actually brought this up to me. Was talking to me about it, and which I didn't think of. Playing with certain people, you might want to use certain cards on them because it's just funny. Like playing with our friend Neil, I'd probably, if there's a death of snakes like snake thing, I want to give him the snakes.
In Gloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it eliminates most of the social aspects. Again, unless there's some chat option or something we don't know about yet.
You probably have to pay $5.
We'll see. But Splendor, I think, is perfect. It makes perfect sense because I think the simpler game. Seems like a great just pick up while you're on the bus or something. Easy to jump into.
No, I definitely agree with that. I haven't tried it, but I really want to play the Star Realms.
Right.
Digital.
A lot of people like that. I
Yeah.
hear more about that than I do the physical game. I feel like a lot of people talk about that. But yeah, so that's coming. I think this summer. And we also got a release date for the D&D game Sword Coast Legends. This is the one.
Oh,
with
right.
has a
We talked
Dungeon
about
Master
that.
mode in it. Yeah, so that's coming out September 8th for PC. And then later it's coming to Xbox One and PS4.
And when is it coming to a Steam sale?
That will be December, the following December, right after. So that's cool. There's not really any new info we know about that. But speaking of D&D and the Player's Handbook that won the award, they just put out some errata for the Player's Handbook. Yeah. So actually, new printings going forward will be updated.
Okay.
It will built in. But what they did, it's not that much. It's one page. It's a PDF. You can download it. We have links below, and it's just little some typos, some clarifications, some stuff like this class when you're doing this has to do this, and they have page numbers to reference and everything. It does. I don't know. I don't think it's anything game breaking, but it could be a little worrisome if you're. Errata
Halfway
is
through.
always if you're.
Well, I mean, can it be as bad as when we did Descent and found the errata that completely flipped a stage?
I don't think it's like that. It's more just always in the back of my head now. If we're looking at the player's book, I'm going to be like, is that one of the things? I got to memorize the sheet that says which things were changed and stuff.
Well, not really, because with the Player's Handbook, because I'm going to mostly use it when making the character.
Right.
So I'd probably be like, okay, I want to be this species with this class and stuff, and then be like, okay, now I'm going to look at the sheet and see what changes.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
I don't think it's nearly as bad as.
Hopefully,
yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna try and download it so we can read it. But in the meantime, yes.
In the meantime, did you hear about the Magic card that sold, at auction for $15,000, I believe it was?
I kind of heard about it, but tell me more.
Yeah. I'm probably off by 0 or so, but they're in Modern Masters 2 just came out, and it's pretty much just a set of a lot of the very good cards for what's known as Modern, pretty much a while ago, Magic changed their artwork style and their cards, and people consider that's the first line for Modern because it's the modern look.
Okay.
And it's all these cards. And one card in particular is tend to be extremely popular. It was in both sets, and currently, I believe it sells for around between, I think, 200 is a low for this card on singles.
This is different from what's the big one, the Black Lotus?
Yeah, no, the Black Lotus has never been reprinted. Like that one sells because it doesn't like. It's not only good; it's just hard to find. This one is still like it's still being reprinted. It's just so good for this set, for this style, that like everyone needs it.
Huh. Yeah, wow, interesting.
Yes.
So it's based on its quality, not its rarity, that people want it.
I mean, it's still rare, but yes.
Oh, okay, but it's not.
It's not like it's still being printed. It's not the out of print kind of rarity.
Right. Huh.
It's a rare card still. But this person apparently opened it up, a shiny or holographic version of it, and instantly sleeved it. So like I think it only has like 2 small signs from like when it was packed in terms of damage, and has promised also to donate half of his earnings because he put it up for auction to charity, which I think actually is probably half the reason why it went up so high because people knew.
That's nice.
But it's sort of amazing to think of a card it's just like. Well, that's pricey.
Yeah.
Like I didn't even think that anything that wasn't printed in the first set could go that high.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is pretty crazy. I mean,
like can you imagine? Also, if you were like just casually opening up a pack and just like, oh, this card's okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. Yeah, put it in the pile with the rest of them. I'm sure it's not worth $15,000. That's a lot of money.
It's scary though, also because I just imagine other people doing it with other cards now. Like the single market, I just imagine increasing. In fact, not with this card, but I know with 2 other cards, I believe there was rumors that before.
Rumor has it?
Yes, rumor has it. That these 2 cards, it was in the final part of the block of the Tarkir set. These 2 dragons that apparently were relatively not too expensive for singles, all of a sudden jumped up high. Because apparently some people were hoarding them in order to artificially inflate the price.
Oh, come on. Why are people so lame? I hate that kind of stuff. It's like anything with scalping. That's like worse than scalping. That's like...
It's making it.
That's awful. All right, so here's some of the D&D errata that we've got. So most of it is race or class specific. There is some stuff, like, a lot of it is just really clarifying what things mean. Like, in combat, ready means you have until the start of your next turn to use a readied action.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's more so...
making sure everyone understands what they mean.
As opposed to actually changing things.
So it's not like saying now, like, the ranger can only attack, and it's 2 spaces.
Well, it's like wizard spells. Trap the soul shouldn't appear on the spell list. So I guess you're right. It's sort of like when you're making your character, you make sure you're not violating anything. And then the rest of it is sort of, or like ammunition. Loading a one-handed weapon requires a free hand. I feel like that's like common sense. They just
No. I've seen someone load an AK-47 with
their teeth.
Yes, actually.
It's nothing really scary. There was one other big thing that was pretty cool. That's our transition song.
That's it, right? It's that tune.
Yeah, that was it. How do I can't work this thing.
It's your thing.
I can't. Oh, okay, I got it.
Oh god.
Technical difficulties, folks. Please stand by. Just keep talking about D&D errata. You know, I can't wait to to change the rules for my errata of D&D. How about you?
You're the DM.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, then while
Okay.
you wait... Oh, you actually found it now?
Yeah, one thing. This is a big thing. It's actually a big thing. And this will take us nicely into our Kickstarter segment.
Oh, okay.
So this time we were actually just talking about this the other day. It's fairly well known, this whole sort of scandal with the doom that came to Atlantic City.
Yeah.
So give them a summary of the action.
Well, from what I've read, I did not know about this. I think it happened before I was on Kickstarter, or around when I just started, so I wasn't paying attention. The game Doom that came to Atlantic City went up. A lot of people backed it because it looked very cool. It still does. And apparently, the guy who's running it, not the creators, from what I've read, pretty much took the money and said, no, that wasn't for making the game. That was for starting the company that would make the game, and sort of disappeared with it.
Yeah, and didn't fulfill any of the rewards.
Yeah.
And the creators, like, they wanted to refund people, I think, but it kind of got messy.
Yeah.
And then ultimately Cryptozoic picked it up.
And actually fulfilled, from what I heard, the...
Yeah, they gave everybody their copy to their games who backed it.
Okay.
So recently, like just recently, the FTC, which stands for Federal Trade Commission, they actually went after the creators this and are actually holding them responsible.
The creators?
Yes, the people who are running the Kickstarter, because ultimately they're kind of responsible. So they have agreed to actually kind of settle out. They settled out in court, and there's a fee they wanted to exchange. Because even though everybody got a copy of the game for Cryptozoic, none of the other stuff got fulfilled. So the T-shirts, the extra packs, figures, whatever, none of that stuff. So they're still in the hole for that. And there's a certain amount of money that apparently right now they said they're not financially viable to pay it, but as soon as they are, pretty much, they're going to be required to give this money back to people.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, I think it's a big deal.
Does that include the guy who apparently did I misread it, or was it just the creators who couldn't?
You can look. It's the guy Chevalier is the name of the guy. I'm not Eric Chevalier. I think he. It was the manufacturing company that didn't deliver, but not. I think the actual designer of the game is the one who wanted to pay people back. But I guess since it was his Kickstarter campaign, they're still
not the manufacturer.
It's still his responsibility. They're saying. But I mean, I think it's a big deal because this is the first time we've seen actual repercussions, because Kickstarter doesn't even have a.
That's really scary for a lot of people.
Well, it's scary, but I think it's reassuring. For
No, it's reassuring, yes, but I still feel bad for that guy.
I mean, you have to read the full article and see what all the details are. I'm not throwing. I don't want to throw him under the bus or anything, but I think it's a positive thing that people can with confidence say, oh, if something doesn't happen, they're gonna have to pay for it.
Oh no, I'm saying overall it's positive. I mean. I feel bad because it could be scary if you're not nearly, but at the same time, then you need your ducks in a row.
Yeah, it's
that's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So I mean, in terms of, I wonder if Kickstarter itself is going to have no new legal.
Yeah, I don't know anything about anything, so I don't know how is the FTC I guess is a government thing. It's federal, right?
I would think.
They just go around checking out cases
Well, probably someone complained enough, and they know that.
Yes.
And look, not just in general, government laws and just rulings. A lot of them are way behind where technology is. Technology is outpacing us to make laws much faster. So for them, it's probably we got to start hopping on this, especially Kickstarter and things like that. They need to. I think. Yeah. I mean, you just said it. They need to be regulated in a way.
It's like when piracy first started. It's just with the internet. There's all of these gray areas where there aren't rules yet.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we're also living in a time when it's very hard to pass anything because everyone's hands are tied, usually because they're getting paid by 50 different people.
And there was 1,246 backers.
Oh, like I said, a lot of people backed the game.
That was the voice of God coming in live to let us know about who backed the game. Yeah, that's a lot of people. So, hopefully it all works out for all those people. And be careful. Speaking of Kickstarters that may or may not have succeeded.
Well, I know one that has gone a whole lot of money. In fact, we've talked about it before. The Zombicide
just
Plague.
launched. Yeah, finally launched.
If I'm correct, I think it was already at $1 million.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest. It really took off. Yeah. Zombies, miniatures. That's all it takes. Fantasy stuff. We still haven't played Zombicide, but
eventually
we've talked about it. So yeah, that's cool. There were a couple that I backed that I told you about that were about to expire and they hadn't been funded, and both of them went through successfully. So good for that. That was Bane, and the other one. Oh, I forget what it's called. It's something Road, because it reminded me of Fury Road. It's a post-apocalypse game from the guy who made Hostage Negotiator on Kickstarter.
But
Salvation Road, maybe.
I didn't back anything.
Shucks.
Actually, I backed one thing, but it's not board.
Well, these
games,
are both old. They're not new, but
yeah, I only backed No, I mean there was the Zombicide, which was cool.
yeah, that was the big
That was
one
the big
this
one,
week.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think what Kickstarter-wise, what really excited me is that we actually got to play some of our Kickstarters finally.
Yeah, we had a weekend of diving into some Kickstarters.
Well, I think we had a low point and then a very high point because our usual game night, we got together and we played like 1 or 2 games.
Yeah, we're not. It's usually a total waste.
I
of
think
time.
you guys played Agricola. I played Macho Kart with other people while you guys were playing Agricola. And then after that, what did we play?
We played Camel Up. We did a little Samurai Spirit for the first time, which was pretty cool.
I mean, it was cool, but I mean, it was a little harder because you had a lot of people and no one could make decisions to split into 2.
It was late.
Also, when people were leaving.
But later in the weekend,
we met up again. It was just you, me, and Neil.
Yeah.
You've probably seen him in our videos. And we played a lot more of our games, and that turned out really well. I think we'll start with the one we played up first, which I think was actually one of our favorites.
Yeah.
It was I backed this Scribes Arena. Pretty much, as we've said to everyone who came by and asked us what we were doing, because this is like a big barbecue. Think of Hangman plus D&D.
Yeah, more or less.
More or less. It's more the theme of
more wizards.
Yeah.
Not really anything else from D&D. Just kind of wizardy stuff.
It's just that we knew everyone would know what we meant.
Spells.
But it was really cool because you pretty much have all these different spells to cast and try to guess. Pretty much you all have like 3 hidden words to try to guess against each other.
Yeah. And like on each of your turns, you get to play cards and you get to make 1 letter guess on one of your opponents. And that's sort of like your health.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like when your words run out, you die. And there's a couple different variants depending on how many players you have, but we don't need to get into that.
We did pretty much a free-for-all. We found it to be a lot of fun. I mean, I found it really balanced, actually, in terms of, like, because what happened early on is the way the free-for-all works is you get points, and first one to get to 10 points, and then guess someone's word wins. When I was playing against them, I actually got both of your guys' first words and I was pretty high in points. But then you guys got my first word, and that actually you lose half your points for each time one of your words is guessed.
Yeah, that's a very
so it was a back and forth.
Mario Kart-esque almost.
Yes, but not in the sense that it wasn't as bad as when you're going to be in the end and all of a sudden someone blue shells you and then you're in last.
Right. No. Yeah. I use that as a positive example. I agree. It was definitely. It definitely helps if you pick like real Hangman. You want to try and have words that are don't have like 4 of the same letter in it or something.
Yeah, that was my big mistake for my last word. But I think actually it was sort of funny. The person who I thought who had the most difficult words.
Oh yeah.
Was the first one knocked out.
Yeah, that's true. Because it depends on what cards you get.
It's always that if someone guesses that 1 letter or something.
Right.
Like I thought it was great for you, even though you won. Jonathan won,
and
for his final word though, started with a V. And I know he's probably thinking no one's gonna guess that. First guess on that, Neil just goes, "Is there a V?" And you're like, "Are you saying this is V?"
Yeah. I was like, when he said it, it was like, wait. And I was like, "Are you serious?" Like he's gonna take it back, but he didn't. But yeah, and then your first word was welcome, which you thought was so simple, but it took us forever to.
Yeah,
to
no, I was
out.
really shocked.
So no, we were really. We loved it. So I don't think that it is widely available anywhere yet, but if it ever becomes available from their website or from ours or whatever, we recommend it because it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, definitely, and we plan to play it a lot more.
I hope so. That's not the only Kickstarter game we played this weekend. What else did we play?
Well, this one is a bit more available. It's Stuff and Nonsense, another one I backed.
We actually sell that, right?
We do, last I checked, or we will be soon if we don't. It was a lot of fun. It's more of like you're joking around, telling stories of fake expeditions you went on.
It's like you're traveling around cards, you're trying to collect kind of cards of not of a set, but one of each type.
Yeah, pretty much the story is this man here, Professor Elemental.
There you go.
Told a story at the London Explorers Club about how he went to Antarctica, and you happen to know it's bullshit. However, you like his idea.
Parental advisory for this podcast.
So you're going around town to collect fake stories, artifacts, plants, so you go back and try to explain your own stories, how you went to the Amazon. However, Professor Elemental doesn't like you stealing his bit, so you have to try to avoid him as you go through each store.
Yeah, so it's a simple game. It's a very simple game.
A lot of fun, mostly just telling the stories of what your cards like. I was telling him a story how I had my good friend and we tried to climb Mount Everest. And yeah, he died.
Yeah, yeah. You have to like string your cards together and use them in a story, which is kind of fun. And the text on them is pretty funny too.
Oh yeah, no.
The art and the dialogue. Not, I guess it's not dialogue. Text is the flavor text is cool.
But one game we got to play.
Well, before we do that. Well, with Kickstarter, we kind of played some of Fun Employed.
Right. But we should show.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to give them an idea. Also because this is one that I actually got. We keep getting Kickstarter. The last 2 weeks have been like Kickstarter bonanza.
Yeah, no.
In terms of the mail. So this one, Fun Employed, which is actually I forget the name of the designer. I want to say it's Rob Davio.
Let's call him Bob.
The guy who did legacy games and stuff like that. Actually did this very different kind of game, like fun.
Very different.
So it's sort of in the vein of Cards Against Humanity or Apples to Apples, but I think allows much more. And you're not just reading cards; you actually have to make stuff up.
Yeah. No. We did one round before we had to stop because
we had to leave. But
yeah,
we got to try it out.
Yeah, I was a judge. I was judging for Superhero, and both of you gave very convincing arguments. Jonathan
well,
only.
let me just explain the game because they have no idea what I'm talking about. You're trying to apply for a job. One person's sort of the judge, but you have to use certain cards to tell you what your qualifications are. So you can't just make up the thing that would be the best. So you might have something that's really bad, but you have to spin it into a positive quality.
Like fear, van, utility belt. Jonathan won in my case. I was judging, and it was for Superhero because he actually is the only one who gave me a superhero name. Do you remember what your name was?
Yeah, it was.
Yes. That was your superhero name. Fear not, evildoers.
But anyway, that's just a fun. We'd like to play more.
Oh, I do want to say that during the during the actual game night, when someone pointed out if we wanted to play this, and you're like, yeah, no, because someone in our group only likes heavy games. So he's like,
oh yeah,
yeah.
It's not. It's a super party. It's a game to play when you're.
It's like apples to apples, kind of.
Be drunk.
We actually got to play one game that's not Kickstarter, but
one actual real game.
Well, no, Kickstarter games are real. Just one that wasn't funded through
Kickstarter.
They're
like fake games.
And this one, which also a huge success.
This is a big one. This is a new one. You've probably heard of it. Specter Ops from Plaid Hat.
We actually were on the same team in this. In this game, usually one person plays as what's their
the agent.
The agent. Yeah. Is pretty much trying to sneak around the board to get intel or sabotage and escape the building. The hunters, who were us, their goal is to stop them.
Yeah, so the agents' movements are all secret. They have their own sheet where they write down where they're moving to, and it's your job. You can only see them if you actually have a direct line of sight, and there's a lot of little corridors and walls to hide behind.
And
on the
this
board
is it's quite a big board, as you can see.
Yeah, it's a big thing.
Yes, as I unfold the entire thing.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
But it was really fun. Very very simple, really.
Actually, that's what I loved about it. It was pretty much you find them and read what your card abilities are.
Yeah,
and miniatures are really cool. I love the miniatures. In particular, I love the guy you played with. Jonathan played with as the
beast.
The beast who gets this giant wolf.
Yeah. Token,
and I played as the puppet, which I thought was a great combo. Pretty much. My ability was there's a car in that giant map because it's so big you need a car to drive around places.
Right.
I could control the car, which also had a scanning function outside of the car. So, puppet. You, on the other hand, pretty much your goal was you could run really fast and then beat them up if you're neck right on them.
Right. So it was you looked for him and I ran up and got him.
Yeah.
we ended up winning. Actually, Neil was like one away from, he had to get 3 missions and he was right about to do his final one and we found him and nailed him.
To be fair though, also, he still needs to get to the exit then afterwards.
That's true, but I feel like once you have the missions done, as long as you can be a little sneaky, it's not, I don't know,
well,
we didn't get there.
Another thing that I thought was really cool about it, we didn't realize is Neil, for his character, and mostly he gets 3 items that we don't know about.
Yeah.
He chose a very running
defensive
style, but there were more offensive ones that you can stun the people who are trying to attack you.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's really cool, and that allows for such different play styles.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different ways you can take it, and I'm hopeful they're going to start releasing new maps and stuff for it.
Yes. However.
Oh.
All right, Plaid Hat.
Sorry.
I want you to listen very carefully.
They are watching.
These next 2 words will make you millions with Specter Ops. Metal Gear.
Solid?
Yes, but Metal Gear, the entire series.
Oh, okay.
But no, this one, after playing this, I'm just like, this is perfect for it. Like, someone plays a snake hiding around. Like, can you imagine one of his personal items just the box so no one can see?
Yeah, it would be pretty cool. It would be cool. Definitely as a... Yeah, I don't know what I would want out of a fully realized Metal Gear Solid board game, but it would probably have at least some elements pretty similar.
Well, I
to
just
this.
think a reskin of it is perfect.
Yeah, but I feel like there's
or at least
more...
the characters.
I would want there's a little more Metal Gear flavor you could throw in there.
Well, I mean, of course, but I mean, it just seemed like it would work really
Yeah,
well
I hear you,
compared to just Metal Gear, Risk, or Monopoly.
Well, yeah, that's a disgrace. But yeah, so overall, we got to play a lot of really fun games. We also,
there's actually one more thing.
Yeah.
We only just started yesterday, or actually story-wise. We got into the End of the World zombie RPG.
Which we talked about last week starting, and we did record our session. I don't know if we're gonna put it up or not. If we do, it might be. we haven't listened to it yet, so the audio might not be that good.
Since it's our first recording,
also might not be very entertaining.
No, it's the first thing.
We might put it up just for fun if you want to.
And hopefully we'll get Neil actually do some drawings of some of the more interesting parts.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I think it'd be hilarious to see some of the things. It was also my first time RPGing as the GM.
And my first time not as the GM.
Right.
So,
it was very terrifying from my view because I was thinking it's the first thing everyone always tells you as advice is that people will never go the way you expect them to or do things. And you guys did not. There's certain things I'm like, okay, I know they're going to do this. And you guys didn't. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
The other big thing, sorry, was...
You are not.
This one I knew was going to happen, but there's nothing I could do about it. Is you guys planned to go somewhere, which was a smart choice. And unfortunately, I wanted you guys to pass by a graveyard, which is in the exact opposite direction.
Yeah, I didn't even... You said you mentioned a graveyard, right?
I did. It was where you hit the guy, and you saw a bunch of people standing.
Well, I'm going to say, it was hard. It was hard for me. I felt like, especially because we were doing it online, I felt like it was very difficult to really have my voice heard. Because I don't know if you had this experience playing D&D, but I feel like when there's 5 people all trying to talk and say what they want to do and stuff, it's easy to get lost. And
no, that absolutely happens. No question. On both ends. There's times I don't know if everyone said anything, and there are other times when I remember when we're playing D&D, and I'll be like, I'm trying to say, especially when you're in the town, everyone's like, I'm going to this, I'm buying the weapon, I'm buying this, I gotta get potions, and you're like, I want to go check.
So I don't know, what the solution to that is, except just experience and practice. And
well, I could tell everyone that
patience.
One at a time speaking, and you speak when I tell you to.
Yeah, so there were a couple times when I was like, wait, when did I get out of the car? When did we agree to go here? I don't remember this. But it's cool. I like being getting to actually do stuff and being a little goofy with it.
Oh no, you were definitely. You decided to give me a glass of water when I was dying.
I felt like I'll lighten the mood a little bit around here. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see going forward how that. I don't know how. This is supposed to be somewhat of a shorter campaign, right? Or
it can go both ways. You can make it either I can make it last that 1 hour or a few hours we played, or I can make it last longer.
Right.
Pretty much, I'm seeing where you guys go, and that's how it's going to react. At least for the first half. The second half is going to be. I'm going to need some time reading and planning that one out. I'm just going to say.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, so we play a lot of good games. There was a lot of Origins stuff. Mm-hmm. Now that's over, so hopefully there won't be any more Origins stuff.
But we got Gen Con coming up.
Gen Con is coming up really soon, and we are preparing for that. It's coming up sooner than we think. Not really. I know when it's coming up. It's in a month. So that'll be exciting. And that's it, I think.
Yeah.
For real news, except for site news. Well, I do want to mention just quickly, if you're watching this, if you haven't seen our Jurassic Park video went up last weekend, and that's a lot of fun. And the movie was out. If anybody's seen it,
it actually comes out of this recording.
Now.
Yes, now.
It's out now.
Well, not when they see it. The one while we're recording.
It will be out when they see it.
We hope you saw it. You should see it.
And look forward to later in the week. We're gonna have a vidya of me playing Marvel Legendary.
But didn't we have a Legendary before?
We did, but this one's just me, baby.
That's right. We're actually going to be starting. This is going to be the first one of a series of sorts showing how, because some games will give solo modes.
Right.
And I know both of us have lamented how we've been like, this game has a solo mode and I still haven't played it. Like,
all our videos now are revolving around which games we just want to make time to play. So if you have any feedback, you want to check out those videos, or if you have suggestions, if you have a question.
maybe you were at Origins.
Oh, that reminds me. We were on the edge of our seats since last week. Just for the record, loyal viewer of Roll for Crit, Falcon Ash K, has and still plays the World of Warcraft trading card game.
Right.
So for the record, I didn't know. It's interesting. Sounds like there's a lot of carryover from that game to Hearthstone once it ended.
I would not be surprised because I mean, if you already have something laid out, you're
Sort
like,
of is this, yeah.
So do you think Versus is going to go that way?
The digital? You mean?
Well, I mean, even like because there was the Verse system before.
Right.
And now there's the new Verse system coming out, and you said it's actually
I don't know.
you heard rumors, didn't you, about not being an LCG?
I'm in the dark. I think it might be. I think maybe they're going. We thought it was an LCG. Maybe they're going more in the direction of a standalone sort of thing with expansions.
Like more like Legendary kind of.
Yeah, we'll have to. We'll know on Gen Con for sure when it comes out. We'll see it. We'll talk about it. But anyway, if you want to be like Falcon Ash K and talk to us about your game interests or anything else, you can leave a comment on this video or email us at rollforcrit@gmail.com. And they can also subscribe to a bunch of stuff we have.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, this video right down there, simplest one of all. And of course, there's Twitter, where you can also send us a message, but you should also follow us at Roll4Crit, and of course, all our personal Twitters.
Yeah, and Facebook.
And iTunes now.
And iTunes, very important. All our audio versions are there.
Because wouldn't you love to just hear these soothing voices?
I listen to us before I go to sleep every night.
I know you do.
And of course, our website is rollforcrit.com. We sell awesome games like some of the ones we talked about today. Great prices. We have deals. We have shenanigans. We have
news, videos, the works.
Videos, the works. And you can find all that again at rollforcrit.com. Otherwise, that's going to be the end of this video. It's been a real fun day.
Oh yeah, hopefully this weekend we'll play just as many games.
Yeah, so you can hear about them next week.
I'm Will Keeler.
I'm Jonathan Estes. This has been Roll for Crit.